Welcome back to the Real Teachers of Atlanta. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about religion in school. But before we go there, make sure you like and subscribe. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Threads. Let's get to it.
We got the queens in the house, y'all. Real Teachers of Atlanta.
Hi, I'm Mrs. P. Smith, the Mama Bear at school, your favorite ELA and SPED teacher, but always teaching my students about business.
I'm Miss Rose, commonly known as the snarky teacher, always ready with the good candy. The kids say I'm their favorite math teacher. After school, it's lights, camera, action. During school hours, it's Miss Carter, the life science teacher saving lives.
We got the queens in the house, y'all. Real Teachers of Atlanta.
So, religion in schools. How do you all feel about them taking religion out of schools?
I don't really feel like it's out of schools. I just think that the way that it's represented, it's not taught in schools, but it's still present because the kids bring it, teachers bring it. It's part of whatever your belief system is, it's still there.
So what I mean by them taking it out of schools, how we don't, kids don't pray. That's not a part of their morning routine. People don't talk about their religious practices in school. So that's what I meant when I was saying that they've removed school religion out of school. So how do you all feel about them doing that?
Right, because it was never part of the curriculum.
Right.
But I do feel like it should be placed back into the school because to me, and just my experience, I feel like a lot of things started happening when we took religion out of schools.
Well, a lot of things did take place, but I look at the kids' maturity level. Are they able to handle, praying 3 times a day or fasting, all the shenanigans that come with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really understand, if religion was taught in school,
Mm-hmm.
would it really help any with changing the environment around the other, what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to look at it. To me, I just got to say what it is. I mean, with school, it's a lot of demons in there.
Mm-hmm.
Higher powers and principalities and all that great stuff.
Absolutely.
Hello.
So it's going to be tough trying to get a child to understand what their worship is. And the thing is, and the problem is now is that we have so many cultures in our school. Everybody has a different way of how they worship God.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, here's my problem with the whole thing, because when I hear the word Jesus, what's the first thing come to your mind? A white man.
Typically, that's how most people, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, yes. Mm-hmm.
But why should a white man be in my mind? What color am I?
Right.
So I don't think, a lot of the stuff that may be taught from that, to me, is not accurate.
Mm-hmm.
It don't make a lot of sense. And I'm not saying I'm trying to degrade the religion or put it down or whatever, because you believe what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to also look at, you have other people that have come up in certain ways. Okay, you saying that, well, if we don't do it a certain way here, we're not going to heaven. Oh, well, what about the other one that is doing something different, totally different than what we're doing? Oh, they ain't going to heaven either? So it just, to me, it's a lot of mix-ups. And I think most wars are based on that by itself.
Yeah, people spend more time defending their religion than actually using it.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different nuggets in different religions but like I said, instead of using the tools that are in the books and, a lot of people, speaking of Christianity, they may take the stories very literal. Some people take them very literal.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on when you read the book, are you discerning, how is this going to help me in my own life? And people look at religion as the something outside of yourself, like the God outside of you, instead of saying, okay, I'm a piece of God. I can also manifest and create as well. There's a hierarchy. Of course, you're not the all, being God, you're not the source, but you are a piece of God. You can change your circumstances. So if you want to teach religion in that way, which they're not going to teach it because that would give people too much power.
Mm-hmm.
Putting religion back in school would be incarcerating people all over again, depending on how you're going to teach it.
I remember a time when I was, I came to school one time and I had this shirt. It said faith book. And it said, put your faith in God, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I came to school and do y'all know I got sent back home?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Yeah, for having that shirt on. Told me I couldn't wear that shirt.
That's crazy.
And, you know, and it really that thing kind of did something to me because it made me realize, ooh, boy, I'm really up against something here, you know. So if I'm up against this here, imagine what these kids are going through, what they're dealing with.
And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not per se talking about, you know, teaching Bible or any religion as a part of the curriculum, but that part right there, what I'm talking about, because when I was in school, that morning prayer, I'm not saying that we didn't do stuff that we wasn't supposed to do. However, praying to God, whatever that God may look like for you, I think it does do something for the atmosphere of the school. And we no longer have that. And I think it's not being protected if you are a, you know, or a spiritual person, then, you know, we pray as individuals coming to work, I would hope. But just that safeness around your schools, I think that was important for us to do every morning.
Yeah.
That we no longer do.
But, you know, I you know, it's just me, though, because, you know, I ain't the sharpest tool here, but I remember I thought prayer in school was when we did Pledge Allegiance to the flag.
Okay.
I thought the Pledge of Allegiance was that was the prayer, right? Well, hold on here. I pledge allegiance.
You did do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then there was a prayer that followed up.
Yeah, and I remember that, you know, back in the day. I mean, but during that time, it wasn't a lot of stuff that we have now. Mm-hmm. And it's like the things that we're experiencing now have become greater than what it used to be, because now it's a greater evil now that is really lurking amongst the whole system altogether. So it's going to be very difficult to try to get these children to understand their religion. And really, at the end of the day, it's really on the parent, really. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But most parents ain't got time for that. They go to work, come home, go in the room, and leave that child in the other room somewhere on their phone. And that's religion. That's church right there.
That's right.
I think that, so when I was coming up, we didn't call it prayer. We just called it a moment of silence. In the morning, we said Pledge of Allegiance, and you had your moment of silence. And that was your time to reflect, to pray, whatever it was that you chose to do during that period of time. But I also, that was what we had. Mm-hmm. But there was also room. There was never a time that I've ever felt condemned for whatever my beliefs is. I've prayed at school. When my students had things going on, I would pray about it with them if they wanted me to, or on my own, because that's what I believe I should do, right? So I think that the way in which we're discussing it, yes, it is God. But I also think that the difference, aside from all the other stuff kind of going on, one of the things that I want to, I guess, acknowledge is that it's not gone. I think that there's a lack of acceptance of other religions and other cultures, and then other belief systems that people have. And I don't think that students are always able to really understand. But I do feel like kids are a lot more accepting than adults. Mm-hmm. And the adults are the ones that are making the decision for, of what to do through their vote or whatever that they are doing to impact what happens at schools. Because at schools, we're still coloring in Santa Claus, celebrating Thanksgiving, celebrating Christmas, and all these other things, celebrating Kwanzaa and Hanukkah. Right. But I'm saying for some people, that's part of what, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times it's associated with whatever your belief system is, though they are traditions, but it's not all encompassing. So we have to I think that you have to still just kind of, there's a space for all of it. And I think you're right, Coleman. It is up to parents to really impart religion, whatever that belief is, with their own kids. Mm-hmm. But also there has to be room to accept the fact that there are others who believe differently when you're in a space like a public school, when you're saying, we're going to put all these kids in here. you got to have room for everybody.
I think in 2023, I think schools are doing a good job for the most part for celebrating cultures.
Yeah.
Now, we talk about those different things. Those are cultures, that activities. And I think that schools are trying their best to have a space to celebrate different types of people. When it comes to religion, I don't per se think that it's catered to anyone now. That they, if the Muslims are allowed to go in a safe space and pray those many times a day as they need to, especially when their holidays are coming up. So I think it's respected, but I don't think we're acknowledging religion. I think it's one of those taboos, like you in the corporate world, or where they tell you don't bring up conversations with politics and religion. I think that's what they have placed inside the schools. It's kind of like taboo subjects. And I can, somewhat see why we don't. I mean, I recant that statement because I feel like, for me, I'm a culture person, so I like to learn about everything. Religion, every culture, but I guess I could see like stricter parents, especially from people that come from a Muslim background, or anybody for their part that's really strict on their religion, not wanting their child to learn about, if you're a Christian, what the Muslims doing, if you're a Muslim, what the Christians are doing. But I don't know why.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a religion classes like that you can take, but I do think that it's
not in school.
In high school, well, we had religious studies in high school, but I don't teach high school now, so I don't know. But we had a religion class where we learned about the religions of the world. But was it in depth where we were learning every single part of it? No, but I actually think that's, to me, I think that's great that if there are a few teachers that feel like, hey, I want to learn, I want to know, but at the end of the day, should a teacher be responsible for that piece? Because I feel like that's what we're saying. If you bring it to the school, we already know exactly where that responsibility is going to land.
Well, we didn't have that. I never was taught religion in school. Now, I worked at a Christian school, and that's what the private school was. So off the bat, you was going to learn about Christianity. So I taught Bible. So, I mean, you had people that didn't practice Christianity, but they know this is what the school is. This is, this is the religion that we're teaching. So, but for me, myself, I wasn't taught any religion in school.
I'm going to tell you what blew my mind one time. I was teaching at a school right here in Atlanta. And me growing up, I met a lot of Muslims, in my life's journey. And the Muslims that I met were very disciplined. I met a lot of Hebrew Israelites, the one to be on the street corner, and the word says, they be yelling out and carrying on, but the thing is that when I look at these guys that I've met, I've always seen so much strong discipline. Even when I see the children are very disciplined. And then when I see them in the school, now, the girls, with the little, what we call the thing in the head? Little sheet?
Hijab.
A najab?
Hijab.
Hijab?
Hijab.
Okay, I'm saying it's a hard job. But the thing is, they put it on their head, right? And they wear it around. So I'm looking at them. I'm like, okay, these very mannerable girls. They're very nice young girls. I said, boy, I in my mind, because growing up, what I saw, Muslims and Hebrew Israelite were very disciplined. I'm thinking these little girls are very disciplined. Well, one day I come down to the gym one day, and I'm bringing my class down there, and the little girl with the hijabs, in the corner with the music on, twerking. And not only that, it got some little boy right behind him, patting on the behind, hitting it on the back. I'm like, what the world? I said, what is going on here? And then that let me know right then, like, whatever that's been taught when they come to these schools, it's being destroyed. It's tearing down immediately because just like I say, I have to keep going back to the social media thing. If you allow these kids to keep looking on these phones and seeing all this different types of things going on all over the world and everything, these kids are going to they're gonna go to it. They just are, because that's what is more interesting to them. It seems like it's fun. When really, in actuality, it's killing you. Mentally, really.
And
It's
that's
a parenting problem. Though that's a parent problem. Like, you're not going to stop. I don't believe there's a way to stop, to prevent 100% your kids, especially if they're going to a public school, from being exposed to something that you're not teaching them. But as a parent, it is my job to reinforce the values and the morals that we have in our home, regardless of anything else. That is my job. So when my kids come home, they need to be surrounded by that. And all I can do is try to minimize that, but you have to be active. You can't be, like you said, come home, put some McDonald's on the table and go to bed and not interacting with your child. You got to know what's going on for the day. My kids come home. There's not a single day that my kids could tell you that their mommy didn't ask them, how was your day? Tell me what's going on. How was this? What happened to school? We talk about it, and there's a dialogue, and my kids are comfortable having those discussions. Do my kids still watch social media? Yes. Do my kids still participate? Yes. But what I find is they get tired of it. They get tired, because they have other things to be entertained by and interested in that are what we want them to be participating in.
What was that? What was that?
I don't know. You pull up some of these kids' phones and look at the amount of hours on
Yeah. We shut that stuff
I
down.
don't think like
You
30,
can
40
shut it
hours.
down.
there.
We have all been children with the dialogue, with the going to church, with the asking them how they doing.
And they still
kids are going to be kids. We've all done stuff that we're not proud of.
Sure.
So, not to say that they're going to waddle in it. I mean, I think there should be room to make some mistakes in life, because there's no perfect person unless you're me and Malcolm and Jesus.
Doesn't make you perfect.
And that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at now, because that's why I used to be a Christian. And I'm going to go even further. I used to be a youth pastor.
Okay.
I've done it. And, but after a while, after further research, the dots didn't really connect after a while.
Okay.
Like, oh man, this ain't this.
Let's talk about it.
So something ain't right about this here. It just don't seem right. Because and I'm just give you just a brief thing of what I got. Why kill your son when you could have just killed the enemy? It don't make sense to me. So my thing is that dealing with these kids as in religion wise, I'm to the point now where, nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing, no matter what they do, it's not going to change my perception of them. They're only human. They're only doing what they know to do. Yeah. And sometimes they just don't know no better. And that's the thing that I don't like about Christians. And people that know me. I don't like Christians. I can't stand them because they're the most judgmental people in the world. I don't deal with them. I stay away from them because, I might, even me being around them, I might say something crazy. I can't believe I can't believe you acting like this here, because this is who I am. You can't control who I am. If you want to really win me over, stay patient and pray for me. Do that. Versus then you going back to your other friend, so-and-so and this. And I said, boy, y'all just as bad as anybody else.
And
you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's going to make mistakes. The kids are going to make mistakes. Kids are just immature altogether. Yes. So their mind is not even on that level to where like, oh boy, I got to get these bills paid and I got to get myself together and try to make something out of myself. Kids ain't thinking about that. Yeah. All they thinking about right now is trying to make some kind of impression with somebody.
Exactly.
But go, Joe. What you was going to say?
Go ahead.
I was going to say with these, Coleman mentioned about the kids not knowing about religion. I don't know. I kind of differ. I have a different opinion about that because to me, some kids, especially at the high school level, they are starting to interact with other children that are coming to school with different religions. And they're questioning stuff now. Like when we was growing up, we didn't question anything.
Wasn't allowed to. Get popped if you did.
And I think
that wasn't my story.
I think when you read the Bible, I think, or any type of religious text, well, I can only speak about the Bible because I was brought up Baptist, but you have to have a discerning mind. Again, when you're reading something, does this make sense? Like going back to the story about, why didn't he just kill the enemy?
Right.
There are a lot of parables and a lot of stories in the Bible that are applicable to your life, but sometimes they're not literal, because remember, the Bible is a translation of a translation of a translation. It's like playing telephone with 1,000 people. So by the time it gets down to the last person, it's completely different.
Right.
So you have to think, okay, well, what was the original book? And then there are books missing. There are books that were taken out that a lot of these different countries have for purposes of, remember, the church is a business. Purposes of controlling, purposes of steering the masses the way that they want it to go. So yes, there are certain parts in the book that you can take away, but we have to remember that, we were given the Bible. Historically speaking, the Christianity that we have today was not the Christianity that our ancestors had, many, many years ago, pre-slavery. And then you have to bring in African religion, African spirituality, that not being demonized and seen as something that is as negative. So it's a very murky situation, because religion is something that starts wars, and is something that's very coveted because it's something that can control people across the masses.
And see, those are the things that we do not want to put in the curriculum.
No.
So our children will know slavery was, mandated with the Bible.
Well, I can't say I put it in the curriculum, but I know when I was teaching in high school, I had, y'all know students. This boy like this girl like this boy. They all start liking each other. They call themselves dating or whatever. Then after a while, it goes sour. Then once somebody's hurt in the relationship because they put all their love into it. And especially when it comes to the boys, when they come to me about questions like that, about, dealing with the female gender, I'll just simply just give them this out the Bible. I say, when God made woman, what did he do with Adam? And they were like, and of course they don't read it because they don't know. I say, he put Adam to sleep. Oh yeah, I remember that, Mr. Colvin. Yeah, he put him to sleep, and then he took the rib from the man. I said, yeah, exactly. I said, but this is why you don't understand women, because you were asleep.
That's deep.
So that's why you don't know.
Yeah.
So whatever was going on while you were asleep and that woman was being formed, we don't know who that woman had an encounter with, because supposedly there was supposed to be some kind of reptile in the garden somewhere. So she supposed to have been dealing with that before you. So before you woke up, she already schooled on what she got going on. So now you got to sit and try to deal with, well, what am I dealing with? But I know it looks good, but what am I dealing with?
So you're saying Eve had a side piece?
What? And that's on who?
Okay.
All right.
Oh my God.
All right.
The reptile in the garden.
Uh-huh.
But if we're not putting it like I said, I know we're not teaching religion, but I think some increments of different religions can be part of the curriculum.
Okay.
But at the very least, I think we should go back to having prayer in school at the very least.
But the thing is, I remember in a meeting that was brought up one time about having prayer, but we had some parents blow up about that. We had a blowout
about prayer in the.
I don't want my kids praying to this Jesus and all this. I mean, I don't heard it.
It's to God. There's no, if it's Jesus, if it's Muhammad, it's a Buddha.
Exactly.
It's just God.
But most parents, but in the USA, most parents associate prayer with Jesus.
Uh-huh.
That's what they know. Because remember I said before, when you hear the word Jesus, what comes to your mind?
Well, yeah.
And that's what they're thinking. So I'm telling you, I've seen them blow out about that. I say, oh Lord, here go. And I tell them, because right there, I'm kind of like trying to make a strategy to get out of there, because I'm like, okay, here we go, religion war. It's gonna go down. And that's why I don't like to talk about it that much, because I think everybody needs to take their time on their own to study the word for themselves and research the thing. Don't just go by what somebody behind the pulpit tell you, because to me, those are the biggest criminals in the world. Those are the pimps right there. That's Nino Brown right behind the pimp.
Pimps in the pulpit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with like the moment of silence. I don't think we have to label it prayer. You do what you need to do and believe how you want to believe. That's my perspective. I don't think that we have to force anything. And I'm not saying that's what I'm not saying that we're saying that. I'm saying it hasn't had to be forced. But I think as long as it's respected, but again, even to what you just said, Coleman, the people that were upset weren't the kids. It's always the adults in the room. It's not, my thing is kids are a lot more accepting and understanding and willing to learn about things that are different than what they've known than adults will ever be. I don't think that the kids have an issue with someone over here being Muslim and someone over here being Jewish and someone over here being whatever, right? I think that the true issue is that parents, adults, are the ones that are like, I don't want my kid to know about that because I don't want you to change what I'm doing, even though I'm not doing enough at home. You know what I mean? It's the adults that have the biggest issue. It's not,
Kids are malleable. So religion is something where you can mold the minds of children. So people are free to believe in whatever. They can believe in that cup sitting right there, which is available for you to purchase on realteachersofAtlanta.com as well.
Okay.
Shameless plug. But you can believe in whatever you want to believe in. But kids need instruction. So, I mean, the great thing would be to put prayer back into school. Using that moment of silence for you to reflect on your day or for you to meditate. But, kids are talking to their neighbor. Mm-hmm. Kids are talking about what TikTok they're going to do at nobody's quiet during the moment of silence. They're quiet. Kids don't know that, okay, I can use this to create the day that I want. You just have to just do it at home and just pray that whatever you're doing for your kid is going to work out for the best.
And see, I don't know how these kids would think today about the moment of silence part because here I go again, here go me. Because when we had moment of silence, the first thing came to my mind, like damn, somebody dead. So I just sit there and like, okay, I'm just praying for all the people that died and for the families or whatever, So that was my moment of silence because that's what I thought what it was. But like, I don't know. I mean, that was the only part of the day where you heard no noise for maybe 2 minutes. And after that,
it was like that, yeah.
Right back to it.
So I don't know if that was what it's for, but I know these kids today, I know if I thought like that, I can imagine what they're thinking.
Yeah, they're not thinking about nothing.
I don't think that it's ever been explained what it is, though.
No, it hasn't.
It never has.
I don't ever remember someone saying that's what it was for. I know that that's what some people use it for, but that's a good point, though. I don't think that it's ever been explained. This is what we're talking about. You can use this time. What do we say? Is just reflect on your day. It hasn't happened yet. What do you want me to reflect on? You reflect on something that happened already.
They don't want to offend anyone. I think because religion starts wars. They just do. So you don't want to say, okay, this is a moment for you to pray, it's like prayer again, going back to Christianity. They just automatically assume that's just, But I think there needs to be some type of energy shift in the school, whatever that might be, because there is some type of nefarious energy that is circulating around schools everywhere. Because energy is either going to be productive or not. And it's whatever is happening inside of the schools is just not working at all. Yeah.
Wonderful.
That was a good point.
Yeah, that was good.
Well, thank you.
And nefarious was
top notch.
SAT word.
Should I do good ELA?
Yeah, I can look that up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll make sure you put the definition in there.
I'm sure they know what it is.
But actually, the beginning of wars it is in the Bible. It's between two individuals.
Right.
But we'll talk about that later.
Part 2.
Right, we gotta do part 2.
Oh, no, we do it right now then.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Well,
let's talk about
the war starts where it's Abraham. Y'all heard the story of Abraham and Sarah, which that threw me for a loop too, because Sarah had a baby at 100 years old, So I'm like, okay, all right.
Wow.
So the baby was named Isaac.
Yes.
But Abraham had a baby before Isaac with the handmaid. That's the baby mama, which was Ishmael.
The one they tried to sacrifice.
Sarah didn't like Ishmael because Ishmael would pick on Isaac. So Sarah told Abraham, you need to get rid of I think it was Hagar was her name. Hagar and Ishmael. I don't want them around here no more. So verses after that, the Lord told Abraham, I'm go ahead and take them where they got to go at. I'm going to still bless them as a nation as well. Which that's where supposedly the Muslim nation started from, Ishmael.
Okay.
Isaac is considered to be the Christian community.
Oh.
That's where the war began right there from years on and years on and years on and past after that.
So what about well, I know the Jewish is a new word because it wasn't Jews.
Mm-mm.
It was Hebrews.
Who?
Hebrews.
Hebrews, exactly.
Mhm.
So what part did they play?
When they come onto the scene. There you go.
Stay tuned for the Real Teachers of Atlanta.
He closing out our show. Well, all right. Well,
I don't want to get into it right now because it's too much.
That's very touchy too.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
It's too much.
Yeah.
But that's why I you know, that I do have a thing, you know, okay, it's good to teach the kids the right ways of doing things and have them to understand that there is a creator out there, because I do believe that there is a creator out there. But I just believe that the story that is given us is not accurate. I just don't think it's our story. And, you know, and I was the one that used to look at voodoo and witchcraft crazy at one time, but not no more, because I think that's what we practiced before we got westernized.
We did.
So I don't know. But when I look at voodoo and witchcraft, to me, it's been advertised on TV right now, because they tell you right now to take all these herbs and stuff for sicknesses and all that, right?
And that's the educational part of it.
Right.
And I always tell people, you know, are all Christians, do they hurt children? Do all Christians lie? Do all Christians force people into slavery? And the question is like, oh, absolutely not. Well, there's duality. You know, you have people that do use voodoo for negative purposes. You have people that use it for positive purposes because that's their religion. Same thing with same thing, using it for positive or negative. And if you're a person,
What is that?
I don't, nothing.
Good witch, bad witch.
If you're a person that, you know, you have a birthday cake, you put candles on the cake and you make a wish, you perform your very first spell.
Okay.
And most Christians have done that before, but because there's a lack of education, they don't understand the history of things. And so you have to respect people's religious purposes and understand Christianity is not just one positive pathway. You have people that use it for very, very awful things, but everyone is not a bad Christian and everyone is not a good Christian.
Right.
Because Jesus turned water into wine.
He is the ultimate alchemist. You turn something you don't want into something that you do want.
They balled that night.
That's alchemy.
Fall till you fall.
That's right.
Hello.
Keep the party going.
I don't think he drank the wine though.
Huh?
Who?
They said Jesus didn't drink the wine.
Jesus drank wine?
That's what they say.
He made it.
That's true. I don't know if
He ain't
drank it or not.
taste it.
He ain't taste it.
I mean, that's what they say. I don't know.
I don't know.
Let me see if it's too strong or not.
You know what? All right. With that being said, we want to thank you again for joining us with the Real Teachers of Atlanta. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and like and share our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Again, we thank you and we are out.
Bye.
Bye.
We got the queens in the house, y'all.